food is actually cut to the size and shape of their mouth so they can easily suck this food in and chew it and digest it properly. So their mouths are also made of dental plates, which they use to crush the shells of their prey, including clam and oysters. So we have 4 different stingrays here at Great Bay. The first one I'm going to be talking about is the cow-nosed ray. And these are the smallest and most abundant rays in this tank. You can tell that the smallest ones are cow-nosed rays because of the 2 small round lobes at the front of their heads. So there's roughly 40 cow-nosed rays in this tank, and they have about 1 to 5 babies every single year. So next I'm going to be talking about our southern stingrays. So our southern stingrays are often found hanging out near the bottom of the tank, and they're super large and round with a whip-like tail. Another stingray that's really similar to the southern stingray is the rough-tailed rays, and they are actually our largest stingrays, weighing up to 250 pounds. So our a characteristic of the rough-tailed rays is that they have white spikes or white splotches along their back and along their tails. So the last addition to our tank is the spotted eagle rays, and they have white spots all over them, and they have a really pointy nose, and they're known for breaching the surface of the water. And they're actually being distracted at the top of the tank right now because they're really, really intelligent, and so they're known to steal the food of the other fish in the tank. So our stingrays, they get their name from the stinger. And this stinger is also known as a barb, and it grows out of the base of their tail, and it's venomous and it's serrated. So once it punctures tissue or an organ, as it's pulled out, it tears and shreds this tissue. So next I'm going to be talking about the sharks that you see swimming around in this tank too. So these sharks are called bonnet-head sharks, and they are the second smallest species of hammerhead sharks. And they breathe through ramp ventilation, which means that they need to constantly swim to breathe. And as they swim, water is being pushed in through their mouths and out through their gills, which is how they get oxygen into their bodies. So how many people here are scared of stingrays or sharks? Not a lot of people. That's really good because pop culture and the media often portrays these animals as being super dangerous. But in reality, they're very docile. As you can see, the diver is very comfortably swimming with these animals. So stingrays actually won't use their stinger unless they feel that their lives are being threatened or they think that a predator is around. So they'll only use their stingers in emergency situations because once they lose the barb on their tail, they won't be able to regrow it for another 3 to 6 months, which essentially means that they are going to be defenseless for those 3 to 6 months. So here in our tank, we cut all of our stingray's barbs off, and it's kind of like equivalent to cutting our nails. And this is just to keep all of the animals and the divers safe in this tank. Also, sharks, they won't attack unless they feel threatened, similar to stingrays. They won't specifically attack humans because we live on land and they live in water, so we are not a part of their natural diet. So on average, roughly 8 people die each year due to a shark attack, but 150,000 sharks die every year due to harmful fishing practices or human activity. So one of these harmful fishing practices include bottom trawling, in which a giant net is dropped to the bottom of the seafloor and it's dragged along, and it catches a lot of non-target fish, including stingrays and sharks. It also destroys a lot of ocean habitats, including coral reefs. So what you guys can do to help these animals is shop for your fish really sustainably by making sure that they're caught from sustainably sourced fishing industries and sustainably sourced brands. And as you can see, so this tank is really ideal conditions for these animals. So despite all these little food particles floating around, this is a very clean tank, which is often not what is seen in nature. Often you see seas and oceans full of plastic and harmful things in the water that can harm these animals, and tar and oils that can also harm these animals. So what you guys can do to help these animals in the wild is get rid of single-use plastic. So make sure you're using a reusable water bottle, or you're using reusable bags instead of using single-use plastic bags. Also tracking your carbon footprint and carpooling and doing all that good stuff can help these animals out a lot too. So this is essentially the end of my talk. If you guys want to go up to the top of Gray Bay, you can actually touch these stingrays. So what you're going to want to do is place your hand slowly and gently